I hope this week is not as heartbreaking as last week, but I don't know anymore.
Just change teams.
No.
Welcome back to the James and Dame Show. I'm Josiah.
And I'm Will.
And today we're going to go over Week 2 predictions. Yay, because this is not confusing at all.
Yes, we totally know exactly what's going on.
Yeah, and I definitely am leading with confidence in this Pick'em League. So at the moment, I lead with a 13-3 record. After Week 1 is crazy. Will is currently in last place with 10-6 right now.
Woo!
Two people are between us in rankings. Please join. It's a lot more fun with more people. It also just it's bragging rights. Honestly, that's all it is.
I'm so upset because when I first checked how I was doing in Pick'ems, I was like,
you were
steamrolling
everybody.
I was 7-1. I was like, this is a good week of Pick'ems.
And then the after it's like came in, and then you just went.
No
good football
the rest of the way.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you're welcome to. Anyone is welcome to join. Link will be in the description to join the Pick'em League, and you can join at any point, really.
Yep.
But we always invite some competition and see who really knows what they're talking about. Apparently, it's week 1. I'm not going to say apparently I don't. I judge based off of what I see, not based off of what I think I will know before anything happens.
Okay.
But yeah, let's kick this off with Thursday night. We got the Commanders visiting the Packers, and
so if I know ball, okay. All right. So this is an interesting game because it's just you have the Commanders from last year / this year, obviously. I wouldn't say red hot like they were this last season, or at least right out the gate. This last week they didn't put a lot of points up on the Giants for some reason. Packers are looking dangerous. That is known. They are also hosting the Commanders
on a short week.
Yeah. This is not looking too favorable for the Commanders. I'm going to be completely honest. I already picked the Packers. I don't like doing that, but on a short week, you're not gonna do really well in an away setting. If this was at DC, I would probably choose the Commanders, but home field advantage is a huge difference, especially on a short week, because this is not going to be a pretty fight, or it's going to be an amazing football game, and I'm going to regret saying that. But I have the Packers winning.
Yeah, I think this is going to be an interesting game. Debo had a good week last week. Krusky Merritt had a good week.
Yes.
Jaden Daniels, I still have a lot of faith in as a quarterback. And
who doesn't?
Again, Commanders got a lot better. Packers also seem to have gotten a lot better with how they almost steamrolled the Lions, who, kind of we have to see about them. But the Packers looked good and pretty consistent, at least through that game. Looked pretty consistent. I would like to see that out of them another week. Yes. But, you have Micah Parsons, who is a game changer, and a team that seemed to have taken a decent step forward. So, question is, which of these teams that improved, both improved from last season. Both of them improved, I think.
Yes.
Which one of these comes out on top? On a short week in Green Bay.
It's kind of hard to pick against the Packers.
Yet I'm going to do it. I'm going with the Commanders.
Right.
Because I honestly, it really just comes down to I have a lot of faith in Jaden Daniels and
No, that's fair. That's honestly a valid reason.
the way they play, especially because like Packers, their specialty is they perform really well later in the season.
They really do. It's that October stretch where they don't do as well as they should.
Is it December or January that Matt LaFleur is really good? Is it January?
I think it's either just late. It's either late December or January. It's after a specific day.
He's got a fantastic record later in the year.
Yeah, I think he's undefeated or almost undefeated in January. I believe that's what it is. He's not including the playoffs, obviously.
Yeah, he's been pretty good, and obviously, again, that doesn't mean that they can't play well now. But I just like the Commanders, especially it's still early in the season, and
there's a lot of unknowns.
Obviously, the Packers win looks a lot better than the Commanders win, but Commanders were not. I don't feel like the Commanders are going to be we're going to blow everyone out of the water kind of team. They're going to do enough to win, and that's just the way they play. So I'm going with the Commanders.
All right. We have our first split. All right, so to kick off the noon slate on Sunday, we have Bengals hosting the Jaguars. So
Bengals are
heavy favorites.
I mean,
not heavy favorites, but they are
depending on based off of betting lines, not super heavy favorites, but based off of picks, Bengals are 91%.
That's crazy. So if I know ball, sorry, I'm not gonna do that every time. Bengals first 4 or 5 weeks are not super impressive. They barely beat the Browns. This is Jacksonville visiting the Bengals, so it's a little harder to figure out who's going to be great. However, Bengals are known to not do well in the first 4 or 5 weeks, like I just said. I am kind of leaning towards Jacksonville right now, solely for the reason that the Bengals don't do well right off the bat. And I feel like that's a fair assessment, and this has been happening for the last 4 years, I think it has, where the Bengals just don't do well the first 4 or 5 games, and they don't really pick up until like October, I think it is. No, late October, early November is when they pick up. What's an O-line? Yeah, I don't know what that is. And we just talked about it in this last recap. Jaguars defense.
I mean,
bad.
Again, it was against the Panthers, who just didn't look great in general.
But any improvement for the Jacksonville defense, especially from this last year, is a major milestone. I do think that the Jaguars have a better shot of pulling up this quote-unquote upset because it's early season Bengals. Because why not? Bengals gonna bungle.
I mean, yeah. The way I view this game, Bengals take their time getting into full swing, especially on the offensive side. Jaguars defense looked pretty good. I think the Bengals defense, it might be a little bit better than it was last year, but again, you win against the Browns last week. There is really nothing to judge how good of a unit that is right now.
Browns are currently, in my mind, the bottom 3. One of them.
I would have them probably bottom 3 as well. So, you can't assess anything based off of beating the Browns.
But just
Bengals again. And the thing that I'm really interested to see about this is week 1 for Jacksonville. We saw Travis Hunter play basically every wide receiver snap. He was playing full wide receiver snaps, and situational corner snaps.
Yep.
Does that change this week? Do you prioritize your defense to try
I-
and slow them down
I
when
would.
you know their offense is good? Or do you put them on offense because you know,
Their defense is great.
because their defense is...
Is not.
Yeah.
It's not great. Sorry. Honestly, they could go either way. Just kind of depends on how they feel about it. If they know how the Bengals operate the first few weeks, it's not hard to figure out where to put them.
I honestly, if it was me, because it is early week Bengals, I'd throw them on offense because you kind of know that,
You can outscore them.
because the Bengals offense right now is not at its,
They're a blank slate.
they're
They're not going to do much.
right now, they did not look good last week. Your defense looked pretty good last week already. I think you do the same thing you did last week and just hope for a little bit more out of Travis Hunter this week on offense. I think you're in a pretty good situation if you're Jacksonville. And I like you, I agree. I think I don't know why it's so lopsided towards the Bengals right now because honestly,
this is what happens every single year. Every time that we do something like this or we talk about the Bengals, it is completely lopsided in the first few weeks. Don't understand why. Don't know why you can't learn from history. Gosh darn it, those Bengals don't know how to win in these first few weeks, except this last week.
Look at fantasy points for the Bengals offense.
They're terrible. They don't know how to do it.
Under 20 points between Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins.
Like, you pay those guys a lot of money, and yet they can't put up more than 20 points in fantasy. Sure, it's not based on fantasy, but that it reflects on your production on the field. It's not great. So
the Bengals just I don't think they have enough to warrant this sort of a much of being a favorite, but I'm gonna take the underdog with the Jaguars because I kind of like the Jaguars.
I like the underdog.
Admittedly, we have to see Trevor do better.
That's the one thing that I'm hesitant on.
Or Travis Etienne just continues doing what he's doing.
Etienne is just kind of carrying that offense. All right, so next game, I have the Giants and Cowboys listed here. This one should be pretty easy, supposedly. I'm picking the Cowboys because I don't know how I feel about the Giants yet.
So
I can't tell if it was just week one stuff.
Preseason, I had these two as the bottom two teams in the division.
Oh, they definitely are.
These would be the ones battling it out at the bottom. Dallas competed with Philly. The Giants did not compete with Washington.
Nope.
So it's kind of hard to
Why would you?
lean towards the Giants.
Yeah.
I was kind of confused why they made such a big deal out of this, but I saw something from, I believe it was Adam Schefter, saying that the Giants would be starting Russell Wilson week 2, which I was like, yeah, why wouldn't they? Is there a reason was there rumors that they would bench him? So it'll be interesting to see. Again, I still think Giants have a lot of pieces to make this game interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And what I saw from week 1, I could still see the Cowboys losing this game. I don't
There
think...
definitely is a possibility.
I think there was a lot of really sloppy play from the Eagles. I don't like it, but I am also going with the Cowboys.
This one's just an obvious pick for me. There's no reason to not pick them.
I mean, I have lots of reasons in that I still don't believe in the Cowboys being even a good team right now.
No, I agree with you. I know for a fact that they're better than whatever the Giants put up this last week.
Better than what the Giants put up last week, but again,
Week
one. How bad are the Giants actually that bad? Because I severely doubt they were that. If they're that bad, then at that point that's got to be coaching. Because
yeah, that's not them. That's coaching.
That it's not a great team, but you improved a decent amount. Yet you look the same as last year. Like your quarterback, at least your quarterback is miles better than what it was last year. And it's still only Russell Wilson, but you should show some improvement, and it wasn't pretty. So, again, I'll stick with Dallas, but I don't like it because I have zero trust for Dallas right now. Moving along though, Chicago visiting the Lions. This one's interesting. I like this one. I like what this could be. First of all, we get Ben Johnson versus Dan Campbell.
Yep.
For the first time. And as far as narrative goes, I think it's a great matchup. I'm super excited. Lions, pretty big favorites. Or fairly big favorites, at least for an early season matchup. I'm kind of curious where your head is at, because I mean it's kind of tough, but also for me this one was an easier pick, but this one can be kind of tough.
I can see what your pick is, just knowing based off what you have been saying earlier. I kind of picked the Lions only because, I mean, Dan Campbell knows Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson knows Dan Campbell, but it really just comes down to who was really running that offense and defense. But obviously Aaron Glenn isn't here, so it's just who was really running that offense. I think it was more of a decision based on who do I trust more in the sense of utilizing the talent that they have. Not saying the Bears aren't going to be able to, but with how they folded that end of the game this last week, it's kind of hard to pick them at the moment, because is this just classic Bears joking, or it was just the Vikings were just really good? I think it was Bears joking. I picked the Lions here. It's a safer bet, not just because of popularity. It's just I don't trust the Bears at the moment. They're a very random team right now. I don't know what they're going to be like for the rest of the year.
I mean, I get that. I mean, you obviously look at the town. I feel like a lot of it is recency, where you look at the Lions and it's just like, yeah, they're clearly a really, and I think they're a good team.
These are two different teams now, so that's why it was harder to pick the Lions here, because it was just, this is a completely new team. They don't have Ben Johnson as their OC anymore, so it was just purely based off of what I just saw last week. That's all I saw.
And again, I don't think the Lions will be as bad as they were last week.
I think Green Bay just was on fire this last week. That's
and it's a rough start. But I think you look at the Lions. I mean, Jared Goff is still Jared Goff. You have a really good running back room. Tesla looked pretty good last week. Or he had some splash to him, so that gives some hope. Amon-Ra had a little bit of rough of a week. And then again, your defense is not horrible, but where I'm actually really looking at this game is, first of all, Bears offense actually. You look at the pieces they have. They actually have some pretty solid pieces. It's probably not on. I wouldn't put it on the same level as the Lions, but I think they have some pretty good pieces. You look at the defense. I mean, their defense has been pretty good the past few years, and I think we might actually get the best year of Bears defense, because I didn't realize this until yesterday, that the defensive coordinator for the Bears is Dennis Allen.
Yep.
Which, I mean, a lot of people go, "Oh, Dennis Allen, he was not a great head coach for the Saints." I'm like, yeah, you're right, but he got a head coaching job because of how good of a DC he is. So he actually went out, and I think he did pretty well.
But he has, yeah.
Again, obviously, the fourth quarter was
a bit abysmal.
It was rough, but like you mentioned, how much of that is the Vikings and just a really potentially good franchise quarterback in J.J. McCarthy, who, I mean, he doesn't need to be a top 10 quarterback, but he knows how to win. He knows how to win in a system or in a unit that really puts him in a position to succeed. So
yeah,
it's hard to judge off of week one in general, but I am going with the Bears because they looked a lot better from last year. They looked a lot better last week. And the Lions looked kind of average. And I think it's going to put them kind of even, but this one kind of, for me, is coming down to the coaching.
Yeah.
And I liked what I saw out of the coaching.
And that's what I need to see first, is what is actually happening and
again,
what should I look for. We'll
get a better idea of what these teams really are as the weeks go by, but
okay. All right. To kind of get moving here, we have the Rams and Titans. Rams.
Yeah, Rams. This one was easy for me just because I think the Rams defense is going to tear apart the Titans offense. Cam Ward might be running for his life again. The Titans defense might make it close, but it's not going to be able to completely stop the Rams.
No. They might make it competitive, but they don't do much.
I don't see them pulling on a win.
No, they're not pulling off a win.
And
it's too early for that.
This I don't understand. Moving along to the next game of the Patriots playing the Dolphins is how are these teams this far apart when the Patriots competed with the Raiders? The Dolphins did not compete with the Colts. The Dolphins looked horrible.
Yep. Dolphins. And it is the Patriots in Miami.
So you're saying you're going with the Dolphins?
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay. I thought that's what I thought you were saying.
That's probably the reasoning. It's probably because Miami's hosting them. Not this time. No. Vrabel and the Patriots are going to probably. It's either going to be a really close battle, but the Patriots pull out, or it's going to be the Patriots just all over them. Like they're not going to do much. Or at least the Dolphins are not going to do much against that Patriots team because. I have more faith in the Patriots. I cannot believe I'm saying that. But I have more faith in the Patriots than I do the Dolphins at the moment because at least the Patriots, like you said, put up a fight against the Raiders. And it was a close game. It was a good game.
Yeah.
So it was – Dolphins are not ideal right now.
Yeah, I can absolutely believe saying you have more faith in the Patriots because after watching the Dolphins last week, I have no faith in the Dolphins. So I'm also going with the Patriots. If it wasn't clear by my tone, this should not be as close. I feel like
I was actually kind of offended when I saw that. I was just like, why are the Dolphins 45% picked?
45% picked and a little over 100. Actually, no. Technically, I think the Patriots are like 10-point favorites.
Yeah.
It's like
technically.
This is
ridiculous.
That like. Either way, but yeah, it's going to be Patriots. Moving along, we have the 49ers and the Saints, and
no.
Originally, this was like 49ers, pretty easily, but then what?
Pretty easily, and now what?
Oh, Brock Purdy potential injury.
Oh.
George Kittle's out, and you're going with the new kicker, and the Saints managed to keep it close against the Cardinals. I think the 49ers could potentially be better than the Cardinals this year, but you also just, again, lost some pieces. I think Brock Purdy's still set to play, but if he doesn't, this game could be dangerously competitive. So I'm not super confident, but like I said, since my preseason prediction, I'm going to stick with the Saints, picking against the Saints until they win a game. So I will go 49ers.
I will also go 49ers solely based on the reason that the Saints are just terrible and the fact that the 49ers at least have some semblance of a team at the moment. And that's my reasoning.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need more.
Yeah, not much else. The Saints have not sparked a lot of confidence.
No.
And by not sparked a lot of confidence, I mean the roster. So I need more. They need to provide more
offense,
more of a sense of being a real team before I give them the benefit of the doubt. Moving along to the Bills visiting the Jets. Bills are really big favorites. Yes. Bills are a really good team.
They are. But
Jets seem like they could make it competitive, though.
They could.
And I'm actually hoping for it, but I'm going to go with the Bills because it is the Bills.
Okay.
Do you disagree?
This is the one where I'm still kind of hung up on because this is Justin Fields' performance in week 1 against the Steelers. How much was that him? I have no idea because I was not able to watch that game. I do think it's going to be closer than people think it will be. This is going to be a pretty tight game. If it's not, easily Bills win.
Yeah.
Like the Jets need to keep it close. If you can't stop Josh Allen, there's no way you're going to win. But with how that defense, specifically with the Jets, were performing week 1, I don't know. I don't really trust that right now. Keon Coleman really stepped up this last week. Kincaid's always good. Dawson Knox is always good. You have Shakir, who's been pretty reliable on offense. What exactly are you planning to do to stop them, Jets defense? Because you couldn't really stop the Steelers offense. I couldn't tell if you were just bad or if the Steelers were really good on offense this year. That is to yet be determined. If it was the Steelers actually being good or not. So I'm still picking the Bills, but I would not be surprised if the Jets do pull off a close win.
I'd just like to see a good matchup out of these two because it'd just be fun.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you did just mention them. Seattle Seahawks visiting the Pittsburgh Steelers.
This should be an easy pick. Pittsburgh Steelers.
This one isn't an easy pick for me, but I am also going with the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's the Steelers' second straight revenge game.
Yeah.
DK Metcalf now getting to go against his former team. And the Seahawks, the Steelers do well early in the year.
Then they start choking towards the mid-season to the end of the year.
But again, I don't think this one is going to be a clear-cut win, but
it might be a little close.
I'd rather have Aaron Rodgers over Sam Darnold right now. I trust
the Steelers more than I do the Seahawks right now.
I don't like it, but I am. Yeah,
it is what it is.
It's just the Steelers.
It's how they've been performing so far.
Steelers, I don't like them, but
I know
I
you
think
don't
they're
like
gonna
them. It's okay, buddy.
pull out a win because
okay, buddy.
the Seahawks are the Seahawks are just meh. They're both like meh teams, but I think the Steelers got a little more going for them.
But Steelers pick. So
yeah. Going along to the Browns visiting the Ravens. And I think this might be the biggest
lopsided thing I've seen.
Yeah, I think this is the
time.
biggest line we got in
2%
in a week
picks.
in a
That's
week
crazy.
2. 900-point favorites.
If you don't smack around the Browns,
I mean, it's a division game, so I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't a smack around, but I am expecting a win.
Lamar and the Ravens are going to be really pissed about the fact that they lost the Bills game the previous week. So they're going to probably take it out on the poor Browns.
Yeah, I don't know how the Browns manage to do much, but again, I think this will be a good kind of test of what that defense looks like.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing that I really want to really see is how good is that defense, because it's hard to judge against the Bills. It's a little easier to judge against a team like the Browns where you should actually be able to do something,
yeah.
And not just come up with the excuse of it's Josh Allen and the Bills.
Yeah.
So Ravens, because there's several reasons, not all need to be explained, but we can move on to the Broncos visiting the Colts. And how much credit are you going to give the Colts after last week?
Not much at the moment, because
Right.
I believe I'm still sticking by it, because the Colts are the AFC version of the Saints. It's what happened last year with the Saints is gonna happen with the Colts. First couple great weeks, something like that, and then fall off the face of the earth because I do not trust Daniel Jones at the moment. Because apparently a lot of people are like, oh, it's always been the New York Giants. Their franchise is always terrible. I mean, you're kind of right. But also, it's Daniel Jones. Since when are we blaming the organization of the Giants instead of Jones for him being bad? I am picking the safer option here with the Broncos only because, I mean, come on. The Colts went up against the Dolphins.
True. That is very true.
And the Broncos actually have a defense.
They have
the no-fly zone 2.0 with Patrick Surtain and all those great players. Like, you're not going to do much against them.
I think the thing to note here is I think the Colts actually, their defense did pretty solid. With
their defense was somewhat good. I'm just saying that, like, it's going to be more of a defensive slugfest, and I think the Colts are not going to do as much as the Broncos.
I think this game is going to come down to, again, Broncos defense is good. We know this. But how much can Daniel Jones actually do? Like, how well can he actually do? Because if he has a good week again this week, and that offense is actually able to put up some points, Broncos might be in a lot of trouble. Mm-hmm. Because I think the offense can do enough to win games. They can do enough with how the defense plays to win games. But if their defense can't slow down the Colts, who, again, their offense looked pretty good against the Dolphins, albeit, but looked pretty good last week. If the Broncos can't slow them down enough on defense, they might be in for a ride. I'm gonna stick with the Broncos because I liked the way their defense looked. I still trust Bo Nix. Your weapons are, again, still a little questionable, but you have Bo Nix, you have Sean Payton, and a good defense. I don't see a reason why you can't beat Daniel Jones and the Colts, who I'm not super confident in, but they got a couple brownie points last week. They did. True. But moving along to the next afternoon window game, Panthers visiting the Cardinals.
This should be a clear-cut Cardinals pick, but
I mean,
you barely beat the Saints.
And I have the Panthers as a better team than the Saints.
I do too.
I don't know, maybe 16-20. I don't know. I don't know how to judge this.
This might honestly be another repeat of week 1. It's just the Cardinals barely winning again. That's probably what's going to happen.
And just as long as you do enough to win, that's all that really matters week to week. But
and like we said with this last year, that offense runs through James Conner and James Conner alone. If he has a great game, then he has a great game.
I mean, Kyler Murray didn't have a bad game last week.
No, but he needs to step it up a bit more.
We have to see kind of how. I mean, because he had, I think Kyler Murray had both touchdowns last week. But it's just the real question of how good of a game this is going to be is how can whatever happened with the Panthers last week, can they kind of get back to how they looked at the end of the year last year? Because they were competitive then. They did not look competitive last week.
Yeah.
So and Cardinals can be competitive. They're just kind of a mid-tier competitive.
Yeah. Also, Cardinals, please use Marvin Harrison Jr. as much as you can. Thank you. Please, because I want him to succeed. I think he's got a lot of talent, and I don't want him wasted on the Cardinals. Which is probably what's going to happen.
Moving along to the last afternoon window game, we got a Super Bowl rematch of the Eagles and the Chiefs, and
I know who I already picked.
I feel like this one's easy, even with the Eagles looking sloppy. Unless you're going with the Chiefs. I don't know how I could possibly go with the Chiefs with how their wide receiver 1 right now is Hollywood Brown, and then they have Juju Smith-Schuster. Their receiver room really thin. The run game was not great last week. You kind of have to rely a lot on Patrick Mahomes working magic and maybe Travis Kelce and your defense being really good. And the Eagles are just not going to be a team to let you do whatever you want.
This is true.
So I'm going with Jalen Hurts, who looked really good, Saquon Barkley, and just a really good Eagles team to win this one.
Okay. I think by that reaction, I think you already know who I'm picking.
Oh, boy.
So they've done it year after year after year after year.
Mm-hmm.
I am not going to count the Chiefs out of this. Only exception I think that would be was division. That's why I picked the Chargers this last week. This is out of division, and this is a Super Bowl rematch. I think the Chiefs at home in Arrowhead are probably going to do a bit more than people give them credit for. This is probably going to be another close game. I'm going to be completely honest. If you let the Cowboys hang in there with you as much as you did, how much are you going to let the Chiefs get away with everything? Like, knowing how they work and operate. I don't know. This smells like I can smell the stench of Chiefs pulling off a real ugly win here. Like there's a stench to this game. I don't know what it is.
I'm
not saying the Chiefs are good.
I just don't see how they're going to be able to do anything with.
Yeah, but we've said this in the past.
But they have even less weapons than they've had in the past. Last year was just Worthy. They don't even have Worthy right now.
They got Hollywood Brown.
They got Hollywood Brown and Juju Smith-Schuster. And again, Pacheco.
Kelce.
You have Travis Kelce, who, like, maybe Kelce can step up, but Pacheco didn't look great last week. Or he didn't do a lot last week as well.
He didn't do a lot. It was an international game, so I'm going to let him chill out.
Like, again, Eagles looked sloppy in a division game against maybe their most hated team where they caused a lot of penalties. You assume that a lot of that gets cleaned up because you're not saying screw the Cowboys, we do what we want, and we're going to play a little more legitimately.
Yeah, but you also have to remember that the Chargers are division rivals. Division games are a bit different than out-of-division games. So that's why I'm taking the Chargers-Chiefs game with a grain of salt, because the Chiefs were almost able to come back in that game. They were almost able to.
Yeah, but I think the Eagles are just better.
This is the same thing that we've been doing for years now, where they somehow pull off a win when they shouldn't be winning. Like I said, I can smell the stench.
But it's the Eagles.
I don't care if it's the Eagles. They've done this before.
I do care. It's the Eagles. I'm going with the Eagles.
I don't like it, but I'm going to throw a risk here. I'm going to pick the Chiefs here because we can't have anything nice in this world.
I mean, I could absolutely... I'm not disagreeing that the Chiefs won't make the playoffs and still be able to make a push for the Super Bowl. But I think the BS could be that they have a miserable start to the year and still find a way to sneak back.
They could honestly be 1-4 the first 5 games if they're really bad.
With how their roster's looking right now for these first
it's very possible. So if this game ends up being as bad as it should be, which I'm hoping, I'm expecting the Chiefs going 1-4. Then again, the last time they did start really sloppy, they went on to win the Super Bowl that year. So that's my point. Don't count them out just yet. It's week 2.
I stick with the Eagles because I trust what I know.
And
even
the things that we do know won't matter in the end.
Going to Sunday Night Football, we got another pairing of these 2024 rookie quarterbacks or 2024 quarterbacks. Falcons visiting the Vikings.
I have my pick here. I'm curious to see what you say here.
I'm going with the Vikings because as rough as it was kind of early in that game, again, it was, first of all, JG's first start. So
I gave it a grain of salt. Like if it was a loss, it's a loss. I mean, that's just what happens in your first game of the NFL.
That shows some good intangibles to come back in a fourth quarter in a division game in your first game to win like that.
Yes.
I'm pretty high on the Vikings and JJ McCarthy right now. So I'm riding with the Vikings.
I am too. Mostly because Falcons are a bit funky. They're the Falcons. They're the Falcons. Falcons are a Falcon. I want them to do well. I'm tired of seeing the same old trends over and over and over again. I just want something different. Is this the week to turn it around? Probably not. You're going to have to need a couple bounce back games. I think just with how hot the Vikings are, I know it's just one game, but that momentum is going to carry over. Like, it's not just, oh, that was last week. We don't have to worry about that because that's just something in the past. Momentum can carry a whole week or two. Like, it just kind of depends on how, really dedicated a team is to continuing that, win streak. But I do pick the Vikings here. Now we get to a doubleheader on Monday night. So the first one is Buccaneers and Texans. This one, why are you making me choose between these two? You have a team that can't utilize a defense, and you have a team who can't seem to block their own quarterback from being sacked. I would rather pick the team with the high-end talent on offense than rely on a team who can't seem to block for their quarterback. Or at least with that Rams game last week, just really sold it for me. I was kind of divided on this game because I didn't know how week one was going to show out. At least the Buccaneers pulled it off. Where were the Texans that entire game?
I mean, hey, they were one fumble away from potentially being able to pull that game out.
I know, but it's something where it's like, Texans, you should be good, but you don't have an O-line. So how can I trust you with not killing C.J. Stroud every play?
Yeah, I mean, C.J. Stroud, I feel like this might be a year where we kind of feel for him because it might be a rough year for him. And purely because of just him doing the absolute most just for his team to come up short in several instances, which means hopefully that they'll actually make some moves for him to have a better team next year. But I'm gonna go with the Texans actually in this one because Buccaneers, at regular season they're funky. They're not super consistent. Offense didn't look as great last week. Where like last year, both times they played against the Falcons, it was kind of an offensive shootout.
Yeah.
The offense did not look as good this year or last week against the Falcons. Defense was a little bit better, but the Texans were pretty solid on defense themselves. So I think they'll be able to keep this one close, and I think this one's going to come down to how this game is closed out. And I'm kind of preferring I'm preferring a little bit more of the clutchness of C.J. Stroud over the consistency or the lack thereof of consistency from the Buccaneers. Is my thought process, and obviously I'm going against
a lot of people.
I'm going against pick'em percentage, but I am going with the betting favorite.
Yeah, I was about to say the betting favorite is the Texans. So,
but then the late Monday night game,
the late.
Chargers visiting the Raiders, and Chargers can do anything, any part of what they did in Brazil against the Raiders. I think they have this one, and that's
Chiefs.
Against the Chiefs in Brazil. I think they'll have this one. That's not that the Raiders aren't a competitive team this year. Not that the Chargers are like an amazing team because of what they did last week. But I think if they can if that's not just a one-off instance, I think that makes Chargers a top 10 team, while the Raiders are kind of sitting on the outside looking in, because I don't think they're quite there at like a fully able to compete. I think they're a above average team, and I think the Chargers are a good team if last week was an actual indicator of anything.
Okay.
So I'm going to go with the Chargers.
I am picking the Chargers as well, but I want to caution people because this might be more close than people think it might be, and the Raiders might actually pull off a victory here if they play their cards right, only because I don't know about you, but flying back from halfway across the hemispheres, you're changing hemispheres. It's a bit funky. So I know they had a week to recover, but you haven't. I don't know. It just doesn't seem very favorable, especially coming back from a different country to play back in the United States.
I mean,
and then also Raiders, they could be a trap team for most of the year if they do as well as they should. I mean, because Geno Smith is still Geno Smith. You have Pete Carroll, you have Ashton Genty, Max Crosby, Brock Bowers. Like, you still have all those pieces. They can still do something here. I don't think they'll pull off the victory here, but I would not be surprised if they, for some reason, do, because early season, you got a bunch of chaos that's happened. It's usually about that week 7 to 9 range when things start to like really click for some teams, and then the rest of the season you kind of know where most teams are at. It's just kind of how well they perform the first 8 weeks, in my opinion. So usually week 1 and 2 is a bit of chaos. I would pick the Raiders, but knowing how great the Chargers were against the Chiefs and how Justin Herbert has become better just in general, like it, I'm impressed with him. I'm not gonna lie. So I picked the Chargers here as well.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing I will add is, because you mentioned the traveling, you do have to take into consideration though. They still get a full 10 days.
They do.
It's not a traditional week. They do get the extra 3 days to recover. So
it's more of a.
It is funky.
Are they still high off their win against the Chiefs? Is it like, are they not completely focused? Like, I don't know what's going to go happen. Like, there's a lot of things that we don't know yet. So this is also Tuesday as of right now that we're recording this. So things can happen within the next few days. So we don't know. But yeah. So I think that's everything. That was our pick'ems. Like we said earlier, join us in the Pick'em Leagues. We'll put it in the description so everybody can join, because anybody's free to come compete with us. This week is a bit interesting, especially with these games. Hopefully we can break some stereotypes with how certain teams play at the beginning of the year, but knowing how things are, trends will stay trends. But yeah, thank you all for joining us. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited that football's back, and that means I can stress out about something else besides college. So it's fun. I just don't want my fantasy wins to be taken from me. Hey, ESPN, I will find you. So,
but that's been the week 2 preview, and we look forward to seeing you either in live streams or the week 2 recap. So,
see ya.
Bye.